It started with a bang literally. One evening, a loud knock shook my front door like a SWAT raid. I opened it to see the self-proclaimed queens of our HOA, the Karen sisters, Patty and Diane. Arms crossed, lips curled, and eyes scanning my living room like they had a search warrant. Patty sneered, "We've had multiple complaints about your ham radios. The interference is ruining everyone's Wi-Fi. We're confiscating them." Diane chimed in, "As of now, your equipment is considered a neighborhood hazard under Section 3.2 of HOA Regulation Code." I laughed, at first. I thought it was a joke. They weren't smiling. I'm a licensed amateur radio operator. I've helped first responders during hurricanes, guided lost hikers with search and rescue, and even participated in emergency relief drills for the county. My radios aren't just a hobby theory, a safety net. But none of that mattered to them. These women weren't worried about safety. They were on a power trip and wanted to make me their next headline. The next day, I got a notice of seizure intent slid under my door. Typed up. Stamped. Signed by both Karens, acting as HOA field enforcers. My equipment worth thousands was to be handed over in 72 hours or legal action will commence. I was livid. But I kept calm. Because what they didn't know was that I'd already filed an interference complaint with the FCC 2 weeks prior. After catching them installing a powerful Wi-Fi booster illegally mounted on a utility pole outside Diane's house. Turns out they were the ones violating frequency regulations. Me radios had nothing to do with it. I decided to respond without warning. I copied their notice, stamped it with my own legal notice pending, and tacked it to their mailbox post. Below it, I wrote, "Unauthorized RF devices detected. Ongoing FCC investigation. Tampering is a federal offense." That same afternoon, an FCC field agent named Marcus showed up at my door not because of them, but because of my filed complaint. He smiled, introduced himself, and asked if I could walk him to the source of the signal pollution. I pointed to the booster. He nodded grimly and said, "Yeah. This is way out of spec. And illegal." As Marcus began his field scan, guess who came marching over in matching tennis skirts? Patty and Diane, red-faced, sunglasses tilted, holding a fresh cease and desist. "This man is tampering with private HOA property." Patty screeched. Marcus calmly showed his badge. "Federal Communications Commission. I'm here because of your illegal use of radio frequency devices." Diane stammered, We have HOA rights." Marcus didn't flinch. "Not above federal law. But here's where it gets wild." A quiet neighbor named Louis, soft-spoken, barely says more than a nod, stepped out with a handheld radio and said, "I've been picking up their booster leaking into aviation frequencies. Almost caused a signal conflict last week during my airport shift." Diane went pale. Patty's mouth dropped open. The FCC took everything. The booster. The router. Even their smart surveillance camera setup. Turns out they've been piggybacking on restricted frequencies for months just to keep their HOA smart grid running faster than the rest of us. No wonder their lawns were perfectly watered and cameras never lagged. They were literally stealing bandwidth from emergency bands. Days later, I received a letter from the FCC confirming my radios were within acceptable limits. Meanwhile, the HOA issued a suspension notice for Patty and Diane's board privileges, pending legal review. Rumor has it the fine could be upward of $30,000, and a formal lawsuit is being drafted not by me, but by the city. And yet, they still tried one last move. An emergency HOA vote to kick me out for creating conflict. But something had changed. The community had seen the truth. Luis. Marcus. Even Mrs. Holloway from 2 doors down stood up and said, "You don't punish the whistleblower because you don't like the noise." The vote failed. Karen power. Crushed. Their smug little club. Exposed. And me? I still tune into my radio at sunset, catching weather updates and emergency alerts, feeling a little prouder with every static-free signal. So tell me, what would you have done? Was I right to take it federal? Or should I have let them walk all over me for the sake of neighborhood peace? Drop your thoughts in the comments, hit like if you've ever had to deal with HOA nonsense, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Next week's story involves a lawsuit and a revenge garden that grew out of control.